Hello students, welcome to today's class. In our previous class, we looked at the topic Capitalist Democracy 3. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at Capitalist Democracy 4. Under this lesson, we're going to get to know about barriers to national development. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to mention some of the barriers to national development. You will also be able to explain some of the situations of bad leadership that have reduced us to the level that we are today in this country, Nigeria. Let us start by looking at some of the barriers to national development. One of the barriers that we're going to be looking at today is corruption. Corruption has been one major thing that has continuously hindered the progress of this nation, because no nation can develop in the face of the kind of corruption that is presently in place in this country. When there is corruption in a government, the whole country suffers. Nobody basically will enjoy from the system except those that are perpetuating the corruption. The people living under the law of a corrupt government do not have the benefit of stable institution, and thus we have a lower standard of living due to lack of development. This is likely a problem in an undeveloped country because the government is unable to do anything beneficial for the country and its people. A country or an unstable government will hinder any development in a country. So when there are corruption, a lot of things begin to happen. We're going to look at how corruption can retard the development in any country, and in this case we're going to be looking at Nigeria. The first one we're looking at here is that corruption wiped out jobs. When there is corruption, there will be no job, because you begin to start having issue of ghost workers. People start taking positions of job that would have been given out to young graduates, even though those people are not existing. Corruption leads to inflation of prices of goods and services. Corruption leads to inflation of prices of goods and services. It drained the economy of resources which would have been used for common good. Corruption deepened the poverty level. The poor are denied services and basic facilities. There's corruption. A lot of this, all of this begin to happen. It reduces the lifespan of citizens as mortality rate increases. It creates uncertainty and risk in growth and development of the country. It increases crime rate in the society, which distorts the environment conducive for development. It creates bad image for the country. In the case of Nigeria, corruption has taken another level. For example, the cost of constructing road today has gone very high because the white men that often we use, our bad government will always use to construct our road, but we still need to provide security, because some angry youth are there who are not having job, also looking for an opportunity to kidnap some of these white men to ask for ransom. So all of this, in one way or the other, has affected the development of the country. Most of that basically in some areas, road cannot even be constructed because people that would have been engaged for such construction, they are not happy or they are scared of coming around to work because of the hostility in such an environment. So all of these are some of the effects of corruption. So when there is corruption in any country, it retards development. a lot of things begin to happen. Most of the time, those that are poor begin to suffer more, because government will not even be able to provide those basic things that those people that are poor will not be able to afford. Government will not be able to provide them. So another one we're going to be looking at under the barriers to national development is bad leadership. The development of a country depends mostly on the type of her leaders, the leadership quality of the people. If the leaders of a country are bad and corrupt, it will be difficult for such nation to develop in any area. Bad leaders do not have the interest of their citizens at heart. They occupy public offices because of their selfish interest. So when bad leadership is in place, the environment or such a country will not see the light of development, because these people that are in power or that have find their way to power, because they are corrupt, they will not be honest in the terms of spending the fund or the national wealth of the nation. It will not be well managed, and as such, the required development will not be in place. Another one that can retard or also be a barrier to national development is political instability. Political instability can lay waste to a country's infrastructure and can prevent government income from being distributed in the manner most likely to lead to development. So when there is instability, political instability, there are crises. When this government come to power, for one reason or the other, is kicked out. Most of the time during the military regime, where they were always coming to take over government. When all of this is happening, it will not help the system to grow, and development will not take place, because whatsoever that particular person who was in power was having in mind, before he can even achieve it, is out. And when the other one come in, before he could settle down, time is going. So when all of this begin to happen, it begin to affect the system, and as such, development will be one thing that will be hard to achieve. The other one we look at here is indebtedness. In a situation whereby country goes out to borrow, like Nigeria currently is in now, always go out to borrow. Imagine a country A borrow money from country B and use it in such a way that it does not improve their economy. Country A will then borrow money from country C in order to pay off country B loan. This therefore causes indebtedness and is a barrier to national development. So you borrow money from one country, the money you borrowed, you couldn't utilize it, you couldn't use it to achieve the purpose for which that money was borrowed. And when that other country is not asking you for the money, you also go to another country again to borrow, so you can pay back the one that you have borrowed before from another country. So eventually you are just going from loan to loan, or from borrowing to borrowing, and all of this can never help the country to develop, because while you are focusing on paying off the debt, you are not even concerned about what needs to be done. And that is the situation that Nigeria has find ourselves. That today now we don't even know where we are when it comes to development. Infrastructural development is poor. As we speak, a lot of things are not in place. We can't even boast of some certain things as a country. All of this is a signal that the system is not in place, and there are a lot of barriers that were mentioned so far that is there to hinder the system. We now look at the other one, which is lack of cooperation. A tree cannot make a forest, so also one individual cannot develop a nation. The growth and development of a nation requires the effort of every citizen of that nation. When citizens of a nation lack cooperation, it hinders national development. So when citizens are not cooperating, they are not united, they are not together when it comes to looking into the progress of the nation, it's become very difficult for that country to progress or to develop. Like in the case of Nigeria, where you have a lot of division, you have a lot of section asking for their own country, like you have in the case of the IPOP, you have in the case of the Duduwa Republic. All these as a kind of put the country in a situation whereby the citizen of the country are not united, they are not cooperating to achieve a common goal. And as such, nobody is interested in the so-called country Nigeria. Everybody wants to have their own country, basically because of the way the present government is doing whatever he's doing, and the policy that is applying at this time is not favorable to most people, and as such they are asking for their own country. So nobody is even coming together to look into the progress of the present country. So when people are not cooperating, when they are not united, when they are not together in a country, that is what you get. The other one we look at here is social injustice. People in a society of social injustice will always have problem. Not everyone in such society will be happy. This is because there will be no proper administration of laws. There will be stigmatization, marginalization, etc. Thus, people in such society will not cooperate to develop their nation. So when you have social injustice, people are not giving justice in the society as they deserve. Maybe because of the person is poor, or his level is not what should be regarded as such a person is looked down on, or is a kind of discriminated, or is stigmatized because he's poor, or because he's from a poor home, or because or one thing or the other. So when people live in a country where they are not having sense of belonging, people see them as though they do not even matter. As such people will not have interest in the country. They will not even want to join anything when you are talking about anything in the interest of the country. They would rather even be working against the interest of the country. The other one we look at here is insecurity. No development can take place when the society is not secured. Crimes and criminalities cause panic among citizens and affect peace and stability. Insecurity results to decline in productivity, which in turn hinders economic development. So when there is insecurity, the economy will not grow and it will not develop. A lot of people that would even be having interest to come over to the country to do business, they will not want to come because their life will be at risk. They will be scared. Like in the case of Nigeria, a lot of people are not willing. Like lately we heard that the United States of America or London or so are already, strategically telling their people cities in Nigeria that it's not safe. So as such, if a Britain citizen decide to come over here to Nigeria to come and invest in business, he or she will become scared because there are city they cannot go to because of insecurity, and basically almost the entire country today is becoming insecure. A lot of things is happening every day that even the security agent of the country are yet to even be able to address. So all these things put together, when they begin to happen, of course, be rest assured that development cannot take place. So the only way development can take place is when corruption is eradicated, is when bad leadership is done with, is when indebtedness, when we begin to start depending on ourselves, we begin to start depending, we have what it takes and manage what we have to take care of ourselves. When we all come together to be united to push the country forward, and then when we also begin to start becoming very security conscious, the security agencies also become very responsible in discharge of their duty. When all of this is done, the country will begin to start seeing the light of the day. This is all we are going to take in this topic. In our next class, we'll look at another topic. I'll see you in my next class.